Okay, doomed. Doomed, it says. That don't sound good. Okay. Doctors agree most alcoholics are hopeless. So if you happen to have this phenomenon of craving, you are screwed. The general opinion seems to be that most chronic alcoholics are doomed. If you're one of these people who goes through that cycle, they can't help you. There's no solution. This guy, okay, he asks, what is the solution? That's probably a pretty good question to ask. If the doctors cannot help us, what is the solution? Okay. About 1 year prior to this experience, a man was brought in to be treated for chronic alcoholism. He had but partially recovered from a gastric hemorrhage and seemed to be a case of pathological mental deterioration. He'd lost everything worthwhile in life and was only living, one might say, to drink. He frankly admitted and believed that for him, there was no hope. Yeah, I know a lot of people like that in AA before they get recovery. Following the elimination of alcohol, there was found to be no permanent brain injury. Okay, so he was not mentally, at least not in a physical brain, messed up. He accepted the plan outlined in this book. 1 year later, he called to see me, and I experienced a very strange sensation. I knew the man by name and partly recognized his features, but there all resemblance ended. From a trembling, despairing, nervous wreck had emerged a man brimming over with self-reliance and contentment. I had talked with him for some time, but was not able to bring myself to feel I had known him before. To me, he was a stranger, and so he left me. A long time has passed with no return to alcohol. So there's a super sick guy, comes in, gastric hemorrhage. He said there's no hope. They detox him, and then he does the book, and then he comes back, and he doesn't even recognize him. Okay, so he's saying the book. So what is the solution? The book is what he's saying, right? He says, I'll give you an example. Here's one of these people. Okay, so here, let's try another one. When I need a mental uplift, I often think of another case brought in by a physician prominent in New York. The patient is a different doctor, apparently. The patient had made his own diagnosis and deciding his situation hopeless, had hidden in a deserted barn, determined to die. Yeah, ultimate sacrifice, right? You can't stop, you can't continue, you gotta kill yourself, right? He was rescued by a searching party and then in desperate condition brought to me. Okay, so he was another case brought in by, okay, another physician brought him to him. Following his physical rehabilitation, he had a talk with me in which he frankly stated he thought that treatment was a waste of effort unless I could assure him, which no one ever had, that in the future he would have the willpower to resist the impulse to drink. Willpower. Okay, so there's two cases. One of them is this guy with the gastric hemorrhage. The second one is the guy in the barn. His alcoholic problem was so complex and his depression so great that we felt his only hope would be through what we then called moral psychology. There we go, moral psychology. And we doubted if even that would work, if even that would have any effect. All right? However, he did become sold on the ideas contained in this book. He has not had a drink for a great many years. I see him now and then, and he is as fine a specimen of manhood as anyone could wish to meet. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. So there's two cases where the person used the book to recover. I earnestly, so he doesn't say the solution is the book, really. He says, what is the solution? And then he gives two examples, and both of them are the book. So I'm going to say, what's the solution? He gives two examples, right? barn guy and the gastric hemorrhage guy. I earnestly advise every alcoholic to read this book through, and though perhaps he came to scoff, he may remain to pray. Ooh. That's it. It's definitely the book. So, huh. Let's go and look at this. I'll do format. Let's see if I can do word wrap. No word wrap. So the first doctor says that this patient comes up with this pay it forward idea. And then he writes another letter saying that it's not just the mind, it's also the body. And then they say that they need moral psychology. They need detox first, and then they need this moral psychology. So he thinks that there's an allergy. What is an allergy anyway? Allergy was like sniffling and stuff like that. Let me see here. Come on, where's a good oh, let's look for allergy. You can get this PDF off the AA website, by the way. All right, definition. Allergy. A damaging immune response. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Hypersensitivity to an antigen. That's a physical. It's a reaction to your immune system to something that does not bother most other people. Abnormal reaction of the body. Okay, well, it's definitely an abnormal reaction. I don't know. I've heard that debate, is it allergy or not? I mean, this guy's a doctor, so I assume that he's qualified to make that determination, but I don't know. You get regular people that don't like to use the word allergy. But anyway, so there's something physically wrong with them, though. That's what his point is, whether we call it an allergy or not. And then alcoholics like to drink, and they get super edgy if they don't have booze. They keep crashing and promising and crashing and promising, and they never can stop. But after they recover, they don't struggle. I know that's true. That's been my experience. It can be that way. Sometimes alcoholics beg for help, but doctors have no medical psychological cure. But they all have this phenomenon of craving. But the end of the doctor's opinions is basically doctors think, at least in 1939, it's hopeless. There's nothing. Once they get to that cycle, it's over. It's just a matter of time before something bad happens to them. But this guy says the solution's the book. Okay, well that's a quick study of the big book, The Doctor's Opinion, pages 25 to 32, Roman numerals. Hopefully that's interesting for you. I'll post these comments in the description below and talk to you in the next chapter.